in the actual engine. And what's going to happen as you're going around a corner is you're going to get lateral force. The lateral force is going to be pulling the car sideways, and you've got to start calculating about how that's going to play in with all of the other forces that are coming into the car. Within the game, we typically have something called a game loop. Now, the game loop looks something like this. While you're playing the game, you're going to get the player input, and that's going to be coming from the keyboard, from the mouse, from an Xbox controller. Once you've got the player input, you can actually feed that input into the physics engine. So then you're going to be doing the actual Euler integration calculation, calculating all the game physics, and that's going to figure out where everything is going to be during the game. After that, the next thing you're going to be doing is just rendering the stuff and putting that on the screen. So you're just going to be whizzing around that loop, 50 times a second if you're running on fairly decent hardware, maybe sort of 80 or 100 times a second, 30 times a second. And I've actually built the game to be, run as a variable frame rate game. So it will take into account the actual frame rate time that we get from the game engine every time it's doing this calculation. Sometimes when you get more objects on the screen, the frame rate will slow down, but the calculations of the speed per second, the car should always feel that it's travelling at the same feel that it's travelling at the same speed, even if the actual frame rate of the game is going to be changing, which it will do if you've got different things going on. As you can see, this is what I'm doing. When I actually call into the game, and this is XNA code, I'm getting this floating point value, which is the move factor. The move factor will be fractions per second. So if you're running at 10 frames a second, it's going to be 0.1. If you're running at 100 frames a second, 0.01, and so on. I then go into the physics engine and pass in this actual variable, and it does all of the calculations based on that particular move factor. And then we're basically updating the car's position. We have a matrix data structure, and you'll have matrices. You've got them in XNA and you've got them in Unity as well. It's basically going to describe how the car is displayed on the screen. We call this method to update the car matrix and the camera,